Downsizing became a strategy of organizations in the 1980s to reduce costs and to improve performance. It is generally achieved by reducing personnel. Downsize was a term adopted in an attempt to be softer than saying fired or laid off. As a result, for many, downsizing may carry a negative connotation. However, we can reimagine the idea of downsizing as we examine how God used this strategy in Gideon's life. In this passage, Gideon is preparing to battle the alliance of the Midianites and the Amalekites and the other eastern nations. When entering a battle, it would have seemed counterintuitive to reduce the number of troops you have available. It is important to know that Gideon has already followed the Lord's direction to reduce the number of troops from 32,000 to 10,000 by letting all of them who were afraid go home. Yet, God informs Gideon that he still has too many men. Can you hear Gideon questioning? Still? Too many men? However, it is the assignment of an omniscient God that the army needed to be downsized further. You see, earlier in chapter 7, God explains that he wants to reduce the numbers to a level that would prevent Israel or anyone else from incorrectly attributing victory to their own strength. God then gives Gideon the plan for the next reduction. At the river, those who got down on all fours and put their face in the water were sent home. That left 300 that cupped and lapped the water from their hands. Now this 300 were not super soldiers, nor did they undergo special force training. They exemplified prudence. Prudence is wisdom, good judgment, common sense, caution, circumspection to avoid hazards. These 300 satisfied their thirst as the others, but they did it in a posture of readiness. They remained aware and prepared for action. God informed Gideon that these 300 men would be his army. Gideon's story can help us reimagine downsizing. Consider that the victory is not in numbers, but in obedience. God could have given the victory with an army of 10, 5, or even Gideon alone. The true fight was within Gideon. Yet, even in Gideon's anxieties, he followed God's instruction to reduce his army. God may instruct us to let go of resources just at the time we think that we need them most. It may not make sense, but trust his directives. Reverend Buckley often reminds us not to look down at what we don't have, but to look up to God and give thanks for what we do have. The Lord desires to partner with us in his endeavors, and that requires trusting his instructions. Simultaneously, there may be times when there are no specific instructions from God. In those times, we should walk with prudence, like Gideon's 300. Without any external promptings, these men exercised wisdom and good judgment in how they met their needs at the river. Reimagine how obeying God, even when the instructions don't make sense, can operate in combination with prudence, good judgment, wisdom, common sense when direction is not given.